what the foot looks like in a neutral position when you get this. I tell you. So, so what we try to communicate to our customers is that that having a design that's a semi-weight bearing cast in the neutral position with the patient sitting on a chair, it's not fully weight bearing. You don't want a fully weight bearing cast because then you can't possibly provide any correction at all. So it's our contention that a semi-weight bearing situation like this will give us the opportunity to correct for the pathology without distorting to the cast to the point at which it's really a shot in the dark and how we're going to design it. So I'm going to show you techniques for making this cast and techniques for making this cast. And I know I'm talking to a bunch of people who make casts all the time, so I don't know what I can offer, but since I cast differently, I know I cast differently than you guys because I'm not interested in casting people for broken tibias. I don't need to make my cast really thick. In fact, the thicker I make it, the worse it is later. So I want a nice thin cast is what I want. We usually put some sort of tubing or something so that when we cut it off, we're not cutting the patient. Oh, it's also good to have like a plastic bag underneath there, but you don't have to. For years, I was just putting one of these nylons on. And I'd always wrap a couple of extra layers around the heel. That seems to be a challenging area to get complete coverage on. But you really don't need more than 2 layers. Some people use a casting board, so they'll try to mimic that downdraft that I talked about on the shoe in the floor, and they'll put the foot on a little bit of a heel lift, maybe 3/8 of an inch. That's okay, but the truth is the flat is fine because when we modify the bridge, when we modify the cast, it's easy for us to put in that shape, and we don't really need it in the cast. The scissors did not cut this, a cast saw did, right? Okay, here's another technique for casting. This technique I'm going to show you here is the one that uses the SDS sock, which is just an impregnated sock, and you roll it up. It's a pretty good way of going. Using tube and a cutting strip, so 2 things. This time we're taping it on the patient first. Then we put the plastic bag on to prevent hairs from being ripped off. Then we dunk this in water. You got to really squeeze it well. If you guys know that, I'll tell you that. And it's a little bit of a struggle to get it up on the foot, but you massage it a few times. You get it all the way up there nice. You set it down. This practitioner liked using foam underneath the foot. I don't think that's too bad to use foam under the foot. He used too much. It was like an inch and a half thick. I think if you're going to use foam, I think a half an inch is as much as you want to use. But theoretically, you get a better contour of the bottom of the foot that way. That's true. So what he did is he used a letter opener, and he trimmed the letter opener so that it became almost like a scalpel. So once you pull out the tube, what remains is that strip to protect the patient still, and you've left a tunnel. And so they don't use a castle at all. They just use this letter opener that's been modified, as you can see, to run it up the cast. Be careful at the end there. You don't want to get yourself in the face, right? So it's a little bit of a struggle towards the end. You also kind of want to do this when it's fresh. You don't want to let it set completely. Otherwise, you'll never be able to manage this. We love the SDS sock. That's the easiest one for us to manage. Fills nicely. We can pull it off the cast easily. We don't have to use any separating agent.